Welcome to The Third Side with your host, John and Stacey Edwards from thirdsideparanormal.com. Hello and welcome to The Third Side. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And this week, we got some astounding, wonderful, spectacular, spooktacular, death-defying, double or nothing, hot as a tomato.
That's quite a hype for some news. I don't know if I can live up to that.
Hey, you have always lived up to it. Are you kidding? Look back at some of these great past episodes we have.
Pressure.
I mean, we've
a lot
got,
of pressure.
Now we've got a long, waiting list of fans from Brazil, France.
Yeah, those French people love you, I'm sure.
I mean, vacation package from Australia. It's we have really got, and not to mention that one-way bus ticket they sent me to Kentucky. I mean,
I heard there's a lot of people waiting there for you to welcome you.
Yeah, they're going to welcome me. I thought that was
pitchforks and things.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Must be some kind of like farm theme. I don't know.
Is it I-77, the best thing that ever came out of Kentucky?
I don't know.
Facebook.com/the third side. Actually, /third side. Don't put the in there.
Don't put
I was trying to trick you and throw you off. That's what I do. At 3SidePara. That's the number 3. It comes after.
You're asking me, or do you not know?
Two.
just asking.
Anyway. The last episode got off to a really bad start.
It did. That was your fault.
And we never recovered.
Okay, I'll be good.
You promise? All right, because I told you the whole bad girl thing. It's still in effect, the bad girl
Again,
rule.
You're doing it.
At 3SidePara on Twitter. thirdsideparanormal.com. That's the one that the lovely mistress over here, she whips around all day and keeps it, in
good shape?
In good shape, like she keeps herself.
There you go.
Just take it from me. Like she keeps herself. It's amazing. Facebook.com/thirdside, though, is my favorite personal obsession because anytime, anywhere, day, night, I look for crazy stuff. And when I find that crazy stuff, I first wake her up.
Yeah, because it's usually the middle of the night.
It's usually the middle of the night. And then I share it to bring it to you guys. And speaking of which, we've noticed that there's, every now and then, breaking news. So,
sometimes.
I mean, it happens.
It does.
So even though we go over the river and through the woods to make it to the studio, literally.
Yeah, that's why I was smiling. We literally do go over a river and through some woods. We are always expanding and growing here at the Third Side. So we had, thousands of letters and comments about, different little ideas ever since we asked for them. And some of the ones that we really hit on, the producers were talking about breaking news and how sometimes it is warranted. So whenever there is breaking news, the studio will have Stacey, flown in, and she will be able to. That means John's going to drive really, really fast.
Really fast. Really fast. And
fly.
Well, you could fly. I got a nice shiny broom.
Yeah, let's just keep going. I knew that was coming.
I knew it. All right. Anyway, we're going to be starting a new segment, which is also a news segment, as we went over before in the past. breaking news, and we will be bringing it to you. Any timely, dated material that needs to get out there quick. Because let's face it, as much as we love you, mainstream media, you're all full of lies, corruption, and just plain conspiracy. Because that's the truth.
We love mainstream media?
We love mainstream media.
Oh.
So we can laugh at it.
No, that's true.
And see which corporation paid the most this week to get their views and opinions across.
True.
So, all the crap that they don't tell you, the real news, whenever you need it fast and you need it good, you know where to find it. With the third side. What are you looking at me like that?
I'm not looking at you. I'm just shaking my head at you. Anyway.
And with that, I think it's about time for some paranormal news.
It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
Okay, so time for some news. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, you look ready over there. You're all
I'm
staring at me. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So the first story.
It's like proper etiquette in broadcasting, just to let you know.
So the first story.
One of the first things I learned when I first started interviewing people, all that pro wrestling and all that good stuff, it was you talk, you look.
But now you're talking.
Even back
and you're still talking.
Even back when I was a speaker in high school and stuff, I'll look over here, look over here, look over here. You always try to pinpoint certain people that are. I used breast. I used to look at certain breasts in the room.
I think that's too much information.
No, it's probably just the right amount of information.
Okay. Story now?
I'm ready for it.
Okay. So the first story is an article an article that was posted by WGN.
WGN, the home of the wonderful Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. And it is an article about a mother who is scared about her child because he is showing signs of remembering a past life.
And she's worried about it.
She's worried about it. Well, I mean, as a mom, I guess you'd be worried if your kid was having nightmares about things that they aren't supposed to know.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Bad. Yeah, definitely.
So this is a family from Virginia Beach, and their son.
You're from Virginia Beach.
I am. Their son's 4 years old.
Well, you're from Bermuda, and then Virginia Beach, and then like Pittsburgh, and then
I'm not from Pittsburgh. I lived there for like a year.
Oh,
that's all. Anyway, you make me lose my place. I hate it when you do that. Okay, so 4-year-old son. I know, but it doesn't matter because I still lost my place. I just highlighted everything. It was just, it didn't work.
It's my goal.
Okay, so 4-year-old son, they actually took him to have psychological testing because they were worried about him, but they're convinced that they say there's a ghost inside their child. But what is actually...
So is it an incubus?
No, what's actually happening is he is having memories.
You totally missed that one, but that's probably a good thing.
Okay.
All right.
Having memories of a past life where he thinks that he is U.S. Marine Sergeant. You've made our producer laugh, and I can hear him now. U.S. Marine Sergeant Val Lewis.
You'll laugh too later on.
Okay. Who died in a bombing explosion back in 1983 in Lebanon. Beirut, Lebanon. But 4-year-old Andrew, he remembers
Not like Lebanon where we...
No.
Like Lebanon.
Right. 4-year-old Andrew remembers it as his own death.
That's terrible. And there's no reason he would have been watching, something that... How long has this been happening, does it say?
No, it doesn't say on this particular instance. It just says that he starts crying hysterically, and when they ask him what's wrong, he keeps saying, why did you let me die in that fire, which is terrible to hear your kids say. I mean, I'm sure it's very scary. But they were actually featured on a show called Ghost Inside My Child, which is a show that I didn't even know was on. It comes on LMN, which I think is Lifetime Movie Network. Is that right?
As far as names go with shows.
Yeah, Ghost Inside My Child is probably not the best choice.
No. It's a whole that's a whole nother spectrum and realm.
But they were on this show, and the show helped them.
Give me just one moment.
Okay. The show helped them connect the information provided to them by some.
So there's enough of these stories where they have a continuing series.
Yes. They found the information about
and they decided to call it Ghost Inside My Child.
Yes. I don't know who comes up with these names, really.
Okay.
I guess. So you're okay with the show. Your point of criticism is they should change the title.
Probably.
Yes. So anyway, they took him. They got some information about some Marines who died
rascals
before he was born.
You know, I mean, just something different.
Anything.
Yeah. Tommy-wommy tykes.
No, I don't like that one.
You don't like that one?
No.
All right.
You got any more?
Yeah, I've got a million, but let's continue. Because this is really cool because that other big story.
Yeah, I'll talk about that too.
Okay.
I know which one you're talking about because it's the big one.
This is
anyway,
psychic abilities.
The family decided to take him to Georgia to visit the gravesite of Sergeant Lewis, just to maybe give him some closure, help him deal with what he was seeing. And so they went there, and they said that he went right up to the gravesite. He put the flowers down. He was fine. And then he went to another grave, and he looked at it, and he said, "That's my friend." So he recognized a name off of another gravestone.
Wow. So, was it really that guy's friend?
It doesn't say. I'm sure if you watch the show, it probably has more information. But like I said, they have this show on
Never heard of
Lifetime.
it.
Me neither. And you know what? As a woman who is a stay-at-home mom and is at home all the time, I'm ashamed that I don't watch more Lifetime television. Aren't I supposed to do that kind of thing? Don't women do that? Watch Lifetime? Is that what Lifetime's for?
I mean, yeah, it's like technically that's what you're supposed to do, but I kind of like you as you are.
I don't watch a lot of television during the day. But it comes on Saturdays at 9. They're currently in season 2. I think season 1 only had a few episodes, 2 or 3 episodes. It wasn't a really long-running thing. But they are currently in, it started in August. So
that's really cool. I mean, that's something we talk about all the time.
Right. And I'm actually probably going to go back and watch episodes of the show just to see.
The one most compelling that I've seen, is that what you were going to talk about?
I was going to talk about the one that they did the book on. The boy that was reincarnated from the World War II fighter pilot.
Exactly.
Because that's the one that you've always heard about. Because, I mean, he was born, I think it started for him when he was 2, and that was back in 2000.
Right.
So, you know,
it's one of the most compelling stories, one of the best cases I've ever seen for past life.
Right. And that boy's name was James Leniger. And he always said that he was a reincarnated World War II fighter pilot. And his name before was actually also James Houston, who died in 1945. And his story started when he was 2, in the year 2000. And he would have terrible nightmares, just terrible nightmares, and about being in a plane and not being able to get out. And so his parents, were worried about him. They did a lot of research on it. And they actually found, he told them what his name was, and they actually found, he said his name was James. And his dad was real skeptical at first because his dad was a Christian and didn't really believe in the past lives and reincarnation, that sort of thing. And so he would ask him a lot of names, and he knew things like, he knew what kind of plane he flew in, which was a Corsair. He knew the name of the aircraft carrier. The aircraft character, that doesn't make sense. The aircraft carrier that he took off from was called the Natoma. He knew he had a friend named Jack Larson. And so all these little bits of information that they got from their son, who, was very young at the time, 3-4 years old, they looked it up, and they actually found James Houston, who died he was shot down by the Japanese. They even asked him who shot him down, and he said the Japanese, and everything fit into place perfectly. And so once they started letting him talk about it and express it, the nightmares kind of went away. And I think it was therapeutic for him to do that. But they actually took him to meet Jack Houston's sister. And she believes that he's
It makes you wonder. I mean, just like with everything, how many times does this happen? And
a lot, I think.
People like squash it when the child is, they're like, hey, you're being creative and talking weird, shut up. And it happens way too much, don't ask questions, that kind of thing.
Well, I think I saw a story on this one time years ago.
Abilities a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, especially with kids.
Hey, mommy, I seen a black figure, juggling, dead chickens, and no, you didn't. Go to bed.
But, I saw a story on
I got a boy in the other room. I'm going to throw a shoe at you if you could poke your head out one more time. I mean, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Anyway.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I saw a story on this kid, years ago, and I'm pretty sure when he went to meet that guy's sister, he actually knew things about when they were kids and things like
Called
that.
her by the name, like
Right.
her nickname.
So there is a book based on his story. It's called Soul Survivor, the reincarnation of a World War II fighter pilot. So
Very cool.
never actually read that book. I do want to point out something funny about skeptics. Because there's always skeptics. And I was reading this one thing that I guess a skeptic wrote, and he pointed out that in this whole story that they had been telling, they failed to mention that when, and I'm talking about the James Leninger, that when he was 18 months old, his dad took him to some kind of museum that had aircraft, and that he was just fascinated with the World War II aircrafts, and that's why he could remember all this, because he was 18 months old in a museum looking at airplanes. I just thought that was so silly. I was like, how's an 18-month-old going to get all that information from looking at a World War II airplane?
Right.
Of course he was fascinated with it. It triggered a memory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was
get all
strange.
That information.
No, and
at 18 months old, our daughter Ariana was really into the song Rockstar by Nickelback, but she didn't come out thinking she was,
exactly
part of a terrible band years later.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's those people that...
Terrible. Terrible. Antichrist level terrible. Right up there with Collective Soul kind of terrible. F you, Nickelback. F you.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. So other people say things like the parents make it all up and force it on their child and that sort of thing, which in this case is not really true because the dad was totally against, thinking that.
Right. Yeah.
So
he wasn't forcing it on, definitely. Not like the ghost inside my child.
But it's very interesting. And like I said, I'm going to try and check out that show. I'll see if I can find some. I think it's on YouTube somewhere, some of the past episodes.
Well, I'm sure Lifetime Movie Network has an on-demand for their, 12 fans.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really watch a lot of television when I'm home.
I just got a really dirty look from our producer.
Did you?
Yeah. So.
We'll just skip over that.
13 fans.
Yeah, there you go.
I quit watching it when I saw the John Edwards story. You ever seen that? John Hawkins story. Was that it? Yeah, John Hawkins.
No, I didn't.
My wrestling alter ego. Don't ever look it up.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, there was he was a murderer that would take girls out and be like, hey, how you doing?
Is that why you picked that name?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I picked the name for a whole nother reason, and it's just as bad. But,
okay, we won't go into that.
We won't go into that. No. All right.
Well, while we're talking about TV shows, we'll just...
I didn't know where that was going because we're talking about a lot of crap.
We'll just mention, you can always count on me to keep it in the up and up. You're the one that drags the show down.
You've always kept it up for me.
See what I'm talking about? This is what I have to put up with.
What? Only up and up. That's what I'm talking about. Jesus.
Just want to mention the new show by Joshua Gates. We talked about it before.
Love you, Josh Gates. See?
Expedition
Hate you,
Unknown.
Nickelback. Love you, Joshua Gates. See? It's like on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum for me. Joshua Gates is right up here. He is. All right.
They've come out with a date that the show's going to start.
And being?
It's a 2-hour series premiere.
That's cool.
The first show is the one that investigates the Amelia Earhart. It says unearthing potentially groundbreaking new evidence in Fiji.
Is she like Amelia Earhart?
Isn't that what I just said?
No, I thought maybe that was a cousin that went missing.
What did I say?
Earhart?
Amelia Earhart. I don't know.
Earhart. Bengals?
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a 2-hour series premiere on January 8th, 9 p.m. Travel Channel. So, we're going to watch that.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
And we'll own the t-shirt.
But I thought it was cool. They went ahead and gave a date for that because we didn't know.
Josh Gates, I've said it before. If you don't have the book, shame, we all know your name. Josh Gates' book is awesome. Diary of a Monster Hunter, or whatever, something like that. It's on my Kindle. Just
it's very good.
Private message me. I'll give you my password. It's.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I won't. But it's really good. It's really, really good. It's awesome because it's kind of like the show. And the cool thing about what they do on Destination Truth and probably what he's doing here, because he talks about in his book, is it's all about the trip.
Right.
It's
that's definitely what this is about.
It's not about what happens when you get there as much as it is. This is what happens if you try to go to, I don't know, like some
remote location.
Yeah. All the crap that happens on the way there.
That's the best part.
Another thing I always admired by him and loved about him was his view on world travel. Now, I don't know how many of you out there have actually left your, hometown and went on a long trip, but I love to get away. It just so happens there's a magnet in my butt that keeps bringing me back to the same. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know.
But on traveling, eat the local food. Don't go to,
McDonald's.
Don't go to the Hardee's or the McDonald's or something like that. Like, that's one thing he always made a big point of is town centers and culture. And
I don't know if I could eat some of that stuff he ate. Like, they eat bugs and all kinds of nastiness.
Yeah, you know what though? It's when it's worked for 10,000 years, it's probably not going to hurt you. And the cool thing about these people, when you go all over the world or when you travel other places, people are people. And we're force fed, and the chip in our head has told us to believe that these people are evil, these people are evil, these people are, just wrong. When honestly, everybody's pretty much cool, and there's a lot of love out there. And and if you show the respect of wanting to learn somebody's culture, they'll usually show you the respect of teaching it to you. And it's kind of like I'm all about unity in every facet of the world, but he is so cool about stuff like that. So I guarantee you, other than that, he's really sarcastic, over 6 foot tall guy. So why wouldn't I love him?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure this show's not like his other one where they went to one location. This is, like you said, the whole trip. And I think, didn't we see that other article when they were talking about this actual Fiji trip? Like they're one end of it to the other, just everywhere. So,
yeah, the producer's trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, so
I've heard that.
It'll be very entertaining. I'm glad the first episode's 2 hours because that just seems like it's going to be epic.
But, yeah, epic.
Okay, so moving on.
How 2008 of you?
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
You were supposed to say I know, right? See, and you missed it. You missed a good opportunity. Anyway, so let's move on to the next story. I saw this story shared a lot of places, and it's sad, but
it's a hoary story.
It is.
It's one of those that everybody shares it.
It's a sad story, but it's kind of weird at the same time. It's about the man who bought a house in Florida at auction. And
I'm pretty sad right now.
I know. He paid $96,000 for this house. It went up for auction because the owner didn't pay the property taxes for 3 years. So he went to go see his new house, his new purchase. And when he got there, it was really strange because the doors were chained from the inside. And so he had to get in there. And once he got in there, the lady that lived there was actually still in there in her bedroom on the floor. And she had died like 3 years ago. And nobody noticed.
Oh, it was a pretty cool story up until the part that she had died 3 years ago.
I told you it was sad.
I mean, I was like with you, she was on the floor.
But
she's like, I've been waiting for somebody to buy this place.
It was weird because whenever he first got there.
You think she was stuck to the floor after that long?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Well, no, I mean, it happens. It's like a natural fact.
They said she was nearly mummified.
What do you think?
But that
especially
when
Florida,
he first got to the house, some of the kids next door told him not to be surprised if he found a dead body in there because they hadn't seen the owner leave ever. So the kids next door are just real nonchalant about it.
Once again, listen to the kids.
And so,
there's not been one single movie from the 80s that I've ever seen where the kid wasn't right. I mean, you always listen to the kids or you're going to die.
Well,
I don't care, even if they're like weird banjo playing kids, listen to the
he said it appeared that she had been in the process of packing her belongings, and he learned that it was two elderly sisters from Venezuela. They didn't speak very much English, and they lived there, and one of them had already died, and I guess the other one was moving out. And he also said that the kids also told him that the police had been called twice to do a check on the owner, to do an owner check kind of thing. But they never did.
Part of town.
Well, they never did, and the police department said they didn't have any record of anybody calling and asking for,
Of course they said that.
For
the police.
Well-being check, yeah. And so when he first
blue line.
The thing is when he first bought the house, he bought it for his sister-in-law and her family, who just recently moved from Cuba to Florida, and she doesn't want the house now because she's very superstitious.
Really?
Yeah, she's like,
Cuban
I don't want
woman
the house.
Don't want the house.
She doesn't want the house.
Free house.
After he just paid $96,000 for it,
After you go through that much trouble on a door to get here.
I was wondering when you were going to pull the door joke out.
It's well, no, I'm saying it's terrible. Some of the conditions they go through to get here.
I know.
I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. It's well,
perhaps
we need to lift sanctions and all kinds of
perhaps
stuff.
this woman's brother-in-law. Maybe they don't do so bad if this woman's brother-in-law can plunk $96,000 down for a house just at auction.
It's not a very expensive house.
Yeah, but who has just $96,000 laying around? Maybe they are not terribly bad off.
Right.
But he said he's going to clean it up and try to resell it.
Yeah,
good luck.
Good
now
luck
that it's
with
been on the news,
now that it's everywhere,
and everybody knows about it. Good luck selling it.
This is our stench room.
Oh, it must be horrible in there. It must have been awful.
It's a whole new kind of Murphy's oil soap, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, gosh. Ugh.
You're never going to get that crap up, or even be able to match it unless you get a bunch more of Venezuelan old ladies to die in different parts of the floor. I mean, it's going to be terrible. You're going to have to put down carpet. Sorry, it's going to be shag carpet.
The police are going to come and go, why'd you kill all these Venezuelan women? I'm just evening out the floor.
Just trying to match up the damn floor. Like it's going to matter. The police aren't going to come. We've proven that. I'm going to go buy the house right now. You better not come down my street if you're over 80 years old in Venezuelan. I'm just saying, because I like my shit to match.
Okay. Anyway. The next story, we're going to move on from that story now. The next story is one that we shared. It's about...
If I've offended any Venezuelan 80-year-olds, I apologize. I know we have a market for that.
Do we?
It's smaller now.
Yeah, I bet it is. Anyway, this story is one that I think you shared. It's about the fishermen that were taking the picture of the double rainbow.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this article, it has a series of pictures. And they're really interesting. Normally, I don't really know how to describe it. It's a double rainbow, which is beautiful.
I think you described it well. Normally
let me just start at the beginning. So these two guys were fishing in Wisconsin, right?
They found a cross-eyed leprechaun.
And after they had been fishing the first day, they went back to their cabin. And the second day, it stormed real bad, so they had to wait. Mm-hmm. And after the storm subsided, they started to go back to go fishing. And they saw the double rainbow. So one guy grabbed his camera, and he took a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, there's a double rainbow.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the pictures are beautiful.
We stopped traffic to take pictures of rainbows, so that's why it's believable to me.
Yes. And a double rainbow, we've seen a lot of double rainbows lately.
We have. Is
that unusual that there's been a lot of double rainbows?
It isn't.
Are they normally double? I don't know.
I believe
I don't feel like I've seen that many double rainbows before. But anyway.
Well, when they're full, like arched, and there's two of them, no, I don't think that you see that very much.
No, I guess not. So anyway, they didn't notice anything about the pictures at first. But then when the guy that took the pictures went home to Chicago, he uploaded them to his computer, and he thought that there was some kind of smudge on them because there was these white dots around the rainbow.
Right.
And so he looked at the pictures, he looked at all the pictures, and he noticed that the dots moved in every picture. They were in different places.
Right. Yes, it's very, very strange, very odd.
So they took somebody took the pictures to like an expert, a photography expert or something, and his first reaction was there's something on the lens, but then after he saw all the pictures and saw that the dots had moved around, that he had no idea.
My first reaction was... hogwash, pickle face. I mean, just always, it's shenanigans. Sorry. See too much of this crap, especially when you look for it.
Right.
And I just figured it was like, hey, cool double rainbow, that's a bug.
Right.
But like I said, it's very well, it just doesn't seem natural.
Yeah, it's odd because they're not just there and then they're gone. They're like here, and then they're here, and then they're over here.
Just doesn't seem natural.
And I'm not saying
very well formed.
I mean, it could be a logical explanation, something
I told you,
meteorological.
I told you it could be like a raindrop reflecting off the lens.
It could be.
You'd think you would see more of them.
But it wasn't on the camera, and it wasn't.
You would hope. One would hope that by the time it gets to this level, where it's in this studio and it's on that table and it's got that highlighter on it and we're talking about it in these cameras, that somebody has thought about stuff like frickin' raindrops. You know,
think so.
You would hope that by the time something goes frickin' viral, somebody would think.
Yeah, but I mean,
but they don't.
Think of the crap that goes viral nowadays. Anything. Fake news stories. Oh, I'm so tired of seeing fake news stories. It's so terrible.
Was it Empire News?
Oh, yeah. Anybody that sees a news story from EmpireNews.net, it is a fake news site like The Onion. Please do not take that stuff seriously.
It's not like The Onion. The Onion's funny.
Well, yeah, they attempt to be funny, but they're not funny.
Empire News is just trying to usually hurt people, like when they said that Aaron was leaving Ghost Adventures, blah, 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 blah. They're trying to hurt people with a bunch of crap and a bunch of bull crap that they make up. They just completely make it up. Yeah. Now, The Onion makes stuff up, but they're witty, clever, and funny, and it's kind of like my favorite story ever. Oh, yeah. The story you found about how archaeologists have discovered the remains of, that people used to be skeletons or something. Yeah, there used to be a race of skeleton people. Yes, it says archaeologists discover skeleton people. And they're like,
That was funny.
undoubtedly,
That was funny.
this, according to the new find, there has been skeleton people found.
He still laughs about it. Yes, that is
Because
witty.
every idiot that gets on the Facebook looks at that and they're like, holy shit.
Skeleton people.
They found skeleton. Oh, wait a second. We're all going to be, yeah, okay. Because that's funny. That's comedy.
It doesn't hurt anybody.
That's
it's
clever.
not just gossip.
That person graduated at least their 2-year college.
At least.
At least. They gave it the good 2-year freaking college try.
Right.
You know what I mean? The other stuff is just made up.
Yes.
Hate
and
it.
it's awful.
Can't stand it. I go back to drawing and quartering.
Yes, only with real horses this time.
I like my ponies.
Okay.
It's just the whole discomfort of it all.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the look on their face, like, you're really drawing a quarter of me of ponies? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I am. Because you deserve it. And I'm not a murderer. Unless you're a Venezuelan woman that has to oil my floor.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, you're the Venezuelan women. Okay. So I'm going to go into a science story
They
now.
don't look 80. Because they're Venezuelan. Very beautiful women.
Yeah.
They are. You've got
I have no idea.
Portugal in you.
I think so, yes. I think that's right.
Portuguese. You don't have Portugal in you. That would be
That would
discomfort.
be uncomfortable.
But, what's wrong? I got Portugal in me.
Okay, let's go for a sciencey story now.
It's like that old, do you like it? You got a little Mexican in you?
No.
You want one? Yeah. Midget porn. All right.
Anyway. Okay.
All right.
So there was a story going around about a new virus that they've discovered that makes humans more stupid. You saw this article, right?
Oh, I saw it. And I was like, Eureka!
You finally know what's wrong with everything.
We figured it out. It's out. We know now. This is what happened.
This is not technically
They all moved to
paranormal,
Washington. They've quarantined them already.
But I thought it was interesting, because we like stories that are on the science theme too, but it's a virus that infects human brains and makes us more stupid.
It's caused the Patrick Star disease.
It's an algae virus. It's not called that.
Oh.
That'd be a good name for it, though.
It would be.
It's an algae virus, and it's found to affect cognitive functions, including visual processing and spatial awareness. So this is scientists from Johns Hopkins Medical School.
If you weren't so smart, I would swear to God you have it. Because did you read the symptoms? People walking in the doors and walls
I'm just clumsy.
and blind. So that's why I know you don't have it. I was going to call and to get them to check you, but
So scientists at Johns Hopkins Medical School and the University of Nebraska, they kind of just stumbled onto this. They were looking for something else, throat microbes. It was like a totally unrelated study.
they always find something they weren't looking for.
But they said they found DNA in the throats of healthy individuals that matched the DNA of a virus known to infect green algae.
So it was stuck in their throat.
I have no idea.
Oh, that's
But they did a study on it, and out of the 90 participants in the study, 40 of them tested positive for this virus.
So 40 of them were idiots.
I don't know if it makes you a complete idiot. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say. I mean, can you have varying degrees of it? Like, I'm sure I know people that are probably totally infested with algae virus from head to toe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But they did publish the study's findings. It's, something they're going to have to keep studying, I'm sure. I just thought it was really interesting.
You thinking of kids?
I'm not naming any names.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I was going through everybody I know about which ones could have it. Some of them, I'm surprised there's not algae on the outside of their skin.
Yeah. They don't look like swamp people. But
what's wrong with nothing? His arm grows back, though, if you cut it.
So what they did in the study was the ones that tested positive for it performed worse.
Digging deep is what they call it. Only a few people's going to get that.
Okay.
So
I actually think I missed what you just said, so I'll laugh at it later,
Adrian
okay?
Barbeau's boobs.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
1981.
I'll laugh at it later.
Freaking Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swamp Thing, yes. I used to love that movie. Anyway.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. That's surprising.
So the ones that tested positive performed worse on tests designed to measure speed and accuracy of visual processing. So it just doesn't click fast enough.
Do you think this is something that the Chinese have developed?
I don't know. Do you think they're putting it in our water somewhere?
Yeah, well, they could put it in anything.
Well, true.
Cheeseburgers.
You never know.
It's like, we got the markets now, hello. And, I was just saying hello. And,
I heard you.
Yeah.
I heard you. Okay, so let's move on to another story. This one's just going to make you kind of angry, maybe. I don't know. It's another.
Make me angry.
It's like another. So I'm going to use science experiment. Yeah, science. This is supposedly scientists that have decided that they have created. They've done this lab experiment where they say that ghosts aren't real; they're just a figment of everybody's imagination.
No.
And they've proved it with this lab experiment that they've done.
Okay, I'm angry.
See, yeah. So what they did was they did an experiment where they could conjure up artificial specters for participants.
Artificial specters.
Yeah, it's very strange. It was this big long article about how they did it.
They conjured up.
Well, not real ones. They blindfold these people and put them into this machine that made their mind like get confused. And everybody that had this certain confusion thought that they were spirits around them. Like they had this feeling that people were watching them, that they saw things like that, and they felt
a bunch of spirits around going, what the hell?
So they've concluded that all of that is just in your head because that happens. I don't know. Let me just read it on here because it's very weird. It's these scientists in Switzerland. And they had volunteers that took part in this experiment, and what it did, it mixed up their movements and their brain signals. So it caused them to see up to 4 phantoms positioned around them, and they believed that ghosts were touching them whenever their brain signals were mixed up. And 2 of the people that were in this experiment actually begged it to stop. They were so scared of what was going on. And what this professor, his name's Olaf Blank, from Switzerland, he said, our experiment induced the sensation of a foreign presence in the laboratory for the first time. And he said it shows that it can arise under normal circumstances. They think mostly when people are in extreme physical or emotional pain, or if they've just lost someone, or they're under duress, or they have psychological problems, that this can happen to your brain, right? You following me here? And so they actually published these findings about how their experiments suggest that feelings of presence, they call them FOPs, that are often interpreted as spirits or angels or demons are really all in their mind. But here's the part that gets me. The experiment only had 12 people in it. That's it. Just 12 people is what they experimented with before they concluded all this. So I don't see how that can be a valid experiment. Do you? I mean, I see that you're speechless here. It's very strange. Pretty much they blindfolded them and they gave them like this robot arm, and there was an arm behind them that would touch them in the back, and they would delay it so it messed up their head, and it was just
because
very strange.
Just because they could off of 12 other Swedes,
right?
They conclude that it's all in your head.
Yes.
They conclude, you know what? I'll tell you what's happened. The lead scientist on this has a wife. That wife is boning a ghost hunter. Okay? She is bumping uglies with a paranormal investigator, and that scientist just goes, he's just like, just read it. Our producer's over there, and I can't see it.
I can't see it. The lights are too.
I think it says no control group. No control group.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They only used 12 people, and and they didn't take into. I'm sorry.
I don't care how. You know what? I don't care how scientific or non-scientific it is. The very fact that you're doing these experiments is beyond all realm of comprehension. Okay? I think both sides of this fight will join in, because you're either on the holy roller, side of things, and there's spirit involved in that, or you're on the I'm out here bumping around in the dark looking for a ghost, whatever. You're both going to come in on this and go, hey, all right? Look, I would give you a challenge, my own challenge. You want to prove whether or not ghosts are real, holler at me. Holler at me. Go to our email. Send me an email. Send me a ticket or come here or put put 12 people with me. This is the dumbest thing I've probably heard, the biggest waste of time that I probably heard. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm talking about the Yeti. I'm not talking about something specified. They're just talking paranormal in general, okay? They're talking about every time somebody's seen their loved one after they pass.
That's just it. They're only talking about people that are in emotional pain or distress. No, wait.
If you're in emotional duress, there is certain things that will happen. Mm-hmm. There is. Go ahead.
But they didn't talk to anybody that have seen ghosts that are not in emotional pain or not in distress or just walking through their house every day and then they see it.
But you said concluded, that they've concluded.
Well, I mean, as far as they are concerned, they said that it's most likely all in your mind and it's just illusions. And they did a paper and they put this, that's what they say in their proof is.
Right.
And they even cited a story about a mountain climber that was in great distress and then felt like there was people around him. And they talk about how your brain has several perceptions of you and you're just perceiving yourself. And it was just this big, long, drawn out thing. But it was just very, I don't think that they did it right. I mean, I think that there was not enough experimenting, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, see, I told you it'd make you angry. I know you.
Does it not make you angry?
Well, yes.
It's
it does.
Stupid.
That's why I brought it up.
They've been eating algae.
Yes, I think they have quite a bit of algae. Lots and lots of algae.
But they need to, yeah. I'm glad I'm not in Switzerland.
Yes.
Because they would be staying in another one of my floors.
It'd have to be a different room.
It would be a different room.
I think Switzerland floor staining is different than Venezuela floor staining.
It'd be the room I felt like, I'm not really for it or against it room. Switzerland, baby.
Okay. So anyway, one more story. Let's just throw one more story in there.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
This is the story, again, it's not technically paranormal, but it's so weird. It's the one about the mom who bought the princess wand at the dollar store. And what a horrible, horrible thing this was.
Oh, number one, they're preying on people.
But a mom from Dayton, Ohio, went to the dollar store and she bought
You got the video of this news story. I mean, it's right.
I think there might be a video on there. I know there's pictures. There are definitely pictures. But she went to the dollar store and she bought a princess wand that it was in the toys with the other kids' toys, and it was fairy princess. And
it's called the Evil Stick.
Yeah, it's actually called Evil Stick, but it's written all swirly
like
and
a fairy
pretty.
Princess Evil Stick, right in the middle of Barbies and Barbies.
Right. And so when she got home, it lights up. And then, but her daughter peeled off some of the foil that is over it.
Looks like aluminum foil.
There's a picture under there of a girl that looked completely demonic with white eyes, cutting her own wrist with a knife. It's a horrible picture.
Horrible picture. It's a real picture.
And she got so angry, which I don't blame her. And because her daughter's like 2.
And did you hear the laugh the thing makes?
Yeah, it's terrible. And so when they confronted the guy, the store manager, he was like, "It says Evil Stick right on it. You should read and inspect your toys before you give it to your kids."
No. It said Evil Stick on it.
And that
I got all kinds of kids.
He wasn't.
I wouldn't give my kids something that say Evil Stick. I'd give them the very good stick. Not the evil stick. That's how the guy sounds. Go watch the story. And so you need to be better parents and stuff. Who knew? Who knew? You pulled the plastic back, and there's a kid. Of course, there's a kid.
No, I like the part where he said
arm. It says Evil Stick.
I like the part where he said kids see that kind of stuff on TV all the time.
Yeah. No, they don't.
I don't know what kind of TV his kids are watching.
Sorry. Snuff
Our daughter
TV,
doesn't see that kind of stuff.
TV for kids is not on there. Hey,
but
do you have a child that's under 10 years old and wants to see some murders?
Yeah, wants to see girls slitting their own wrists. There you go.
What are we going to do tonight, Rosie? Don't know, Christy. Hey, there's a straight red blade. What are we doing? Oh. Yeah.
So anyway, the guy's not going to pull the toy. He said unless he gets a direct complaint from a customer, I guess they didn't complain directly to this dollar store.
Although I do want one.
Do you? An evil stick? I bet you could probably buy them online now. They're probably flying off the shelves.
They're probably $1,000 now. I do want the evil stick just because it's the evil stick and it's going to be pulled.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably encased in lead.
Probably.
And I'm sure
leaks battery acid, you know, something.
I'm sure it was made in, like, a back street somewhere in China, and somebody's like, hey, watch this. Hey, Mangling, come here.
Here's my question about it, because I didn't really understand. The foil's not supposed to come off, right?
Well, it's kind of chintzy.
Like, I think
it's a dollar fairy
I know. I think it's supposed to light up and you're supposed to see the picture through the foil or something, but it comes off really easily, and she just pulls it off.
Really, for $1, you get a lot. I mean, it's a full-size...
It lights up. It laughs at you.
Exactly. Full-size one, lights up, laughs at you, traumatizes you for life.
Nightmares for your children.
Honestly,
for only
if
$1.
I was a psychologist, I would have made the damn thing and put it out.
Just so you can get the therapy?
Just so I can get the business. Because it's going to cause the business. This is definitely the rocking the baby doll in the chair kind of stuff right afterwards. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's wrong, Sally?
Oh, the guy, the owner of the dollar store where the item was purchased, his name is Amar Mustafa.
Uh-huh.
Just so everybody knows who to complain to directly.
Complain to Amar Mustafa.
So anyway.
There
you go. Now that I've thoroughly outraged you and put you in a horrible mood, we're going to end the show.
Good time for it,
I
too.
know.
Thanks so much. And thank you for the news, for real.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And once again, thank you so much for the news, Stacey. It was very good this week. It was a little bit like angering and stuff.
Yeah, maybe I should have ordered the stories differently.
I don't know. I think maybe you're trying to get a rise out of me.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, anyway. Facebook.com/Third Side. At 3SidePara, that's the number 3. On Twitter, thirdsideparanormal.com is the web address that you want to go to. And, you know, as always, I want to say if I've offended any dead Venezuelan women, that it was not my intention, especially if you live in Kentucky and have friends, you know, in other places. Yeah.
I don't know.
It wasn't my intent.
That's okay.
Because we love you all, except for you sweet scientist. You damn sweet scientist. You need to stop with your paranormal experiments now, okay? I don't know which one of you started it, but I know you're watching, okay? Or somebody that was a friend of yours is watching, and they're like, hey, this crazy bald American cat might actually come over here and use you for wood oil, all right? So anyway, come on. No, much love to everybody. We're growing by leaps and bounds, expanding. You know, it means so much to us, and it really does. We love everything that we love doing this, and we love bringing it to you. You know, reach out to us. All these ways to reach out to us: Facebook.com/ThirdSide, at 3SidePara, ThirdSideParanormal.com. We got some really big guests coming up in the next few shows. You know, we're real excited about this, and we're excited about what the next year is bringing to us, because baby, it's just taking off right now. And for my lovely wife, Stacey, I am John Edwards. So long from the Third Side.
Good night.